Hey everyone, welcome to PopXP. And before the show starts, make sure to click that subscribe button and click the bell to get notifications when we go live and we upload awesome new content. And don't forget, if you can, make sure to share our stream on all your social media outlets. We appreciate it, and thanks for helping us grow the PopXP channel. Hey, what's going on, you crowdfunding maniacs? It is the time. It's a launch party. Billy, teen sensation,
Scala.
I'm ready. We got JC Vaughn in the house, Dan Lawless, some
Dan
guy that
King
hacked.
Lawless.
Hey, buddy.
Some guy that hacked our stream. Excuse me, sir. Are you in the right place? Are you?
He's got the
are you in right
shades.
place,
Donde es Billy Tucci?
Oh my God.
Excellent, excellent. Launch party, guys, for some Al Capone Vampire. What?
Yes.
Yes, Mr. JC Vaughn, how we doing, sir?
I am. I'm psyched that we're finally here, man. Long road.
I know, this is
The
exciting.
long and winding road.
How long was the road?
It was about COVID long.
Oh, indeed.
A lot of the art was done pretty quickly after we finished Vampire PA Bite Out of Crime, and then we went down a couple of people at work on the Over Street Comic Book Press Guide and our other books, and suddenly all my creative stuff got pushed to the side, and it's very exciting to be back to this.
Yes, it is. Now, this isn't just one campaign that's being launched.
No.
It isn't. It's both Kickstarter and Indiegogo. There are exclusives in each. They are pretty much otherwise the same. The A cover, the beautiful Dan Lawless wraparound cover, and the C cover are all in both campaigns. And there is an option in both campaigns to get the total ones in there. The Kickstarter has a black and white version of Dan's cover as the Kickstarter exclusive, and the Indiegogo has the virgin version of the Punch Comics number 12 homage, which is our cover A by the Frames and colored by Hi-Fi's Brian Miller.
Excellent.
Yeah, that's a gorgeous cover. And let's pop it up. Let's bring this campaign up because we're gonna get your Kickstarter first. You've already got 2 backers. You just launched. They just went live right now, everyone. As the intro was playing, the Kickstarter went live and the Indiegogo went live. So
All right.
Oh, there you go. Boom. There you go. Awesome. You're almost to goal. Fantastic.
Oh, we're really look at that. We're really close now.
Hail, hail. Welcome. There you go. Now you're close. Let's see if anyone's tapped the Indiegogo. For you Indiegogo's backers out there that are live right now, check out Al Capone Vampire number 1. Ready to be backed, please. And I think we should check out the campaign video.
Nile, before you do that, I've got to say, you were under the weather when you put this together for me. And if this is what you do when you were sick, you should be sick more often.
My wife thinks I'm sick all the time.
Yeah, I didn't mean that kind of sick. But
That's different.
Oh, okay. Hey, apples, oranges, they're all the same thing. Let's check out the campaign video.
Yeah, let's look at that.
Let's look at it right now.
Let's look at it right.
I'm JC Vaughn, creator of Capone Vampire. You know, some projects require an elaborate pitch. This one does not. It's Al Capone, and he's a vampire. But I promise our story has a lot more to it, too. The events spring out of Vampire, but you don't need to have read that to get this one. There's a brief recap, but the setup is really straightforward. Al Capone is back. He's a vampire and has decided to become boss of Chicago. We have art by Brendan and Brian Frame, colors by House of Magi, letters by Andy Lopkin, edits by Jason Odom, and a ton of technical advice from our pal Scala. We also have an incredible variant cover from Dan Lawless, and we hit a few stretch goals. We've got some incredible stuff up our sleeves. The book is ready to go to press. We just need your help to make it a reality. On behalf of our whole team, I'd like to thank you for checking out our crowdfunding effort and for your consideration. Thanks.
Excellent video, Dean.
Nile, that was just beautiful, but so much blood.
It's
great.
Blood.
The blood.
So much blood indeed.
What was the
Great
music?
job, Scala.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
what was the music? It was really cool.
I pull it. You know, it's all music that I get the licensing from.
Really?
So, yeah.
That sounded very Godfather-ishy. I liked it.
Well, you know, I was doing the music for the video, and I had kind of like that opening music was kind of like the theme, and I'm like, wait, this is Al Capone, like this is the mafia and stuff. Like, whoa, let's back up. So let's hit it in the beginning, right, with the blood bleed out in the stone, and then let's fade it in one another and get the little Godfather Italian stuff going on.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
You know?
Hey, you know what I want to hear is how did this idea come to you? I want to know when that hit you, because this is a killer idea.
I have to say, when I was working on the script, we had Mike and I had done the original Vampire PA miniseries, and I really wanted to get back to it. And the origin for that is I seem to have this thing for people doing, average regular guy jobs that suddenly find themselves, in the case of a locksmith fighting zombies, or in the case of an HVAC repairman fighting vampires, in the town next to the town Mike and I grew up in, and was doing the sequel, the one shot, and I don't know, maybe I hit my head or something. I don't really quite remember. But these things happen. Just in Zombie Proof, I was taking a shower and all of a sudden I jumped out, grabbed my towel, and called my partner on that book and said, "Hey, what if the next time we see Jack Watanabe, he's dressed as Harpo Marx?" and I'm smart enough to partner with people who will go, when I say something crazy like that, they'll go, "Yeah." and I remember telling Mike that, yeah, it's gonna be Al Capone and he's a vampire. And Mike asked the logical question, how? And I go, I don't know yet. It's just gonna happen. and it was just too much fun. And then I did, part of the way through the issue, I knew the origin of him. And we'll get to that when we get to about the third issue of this series.
Yeah, it's probably one of those things that almost writes itself, huh? I mean, once you get that idea, it's just, it's just all of a sudden a ton of
once you get there, and inevitably, when you make a decision like this, you start stumbling across old episodes of The Untouchables or the movie The Untouchables or other stuff with Capone, and it becomes inescapable. And just like when you get into those situations, everything starts informing your thought process.
It's been so cool hanging around Jeff and at the beginning of a lot of these ideas and seeing them come to fruition and seeing the frames, drawing them, and just knocking it out of the park has just been a wonderful experience over the past couple of years.
Yeah, I hate to say how long I've been working with him, but it's like a million years now. We started with a newspaper strip that appeared in an antiquing journal, that was a Sunday size strip, weekly, and called Antiques, of all things. And it was a murder mystery romance.
Very nice, man. Now tell us a bit about the campaign. As I scroll down, I got this cover right here.
Jimmy Palmiotti just emailed me. He was #1 to back my campaign.
What?
Woo! Go, Jimmy.
Yeah,
Thank you,
I was
Jimmy.
Where
number
is
one back
Jim?
on
Tell Jimmy to
Indiegogo.
pop on. Tell Jimmy. I'm going to
I'll
send
do
him the
that.
link.
Okay.
Old Bean. I was number one back on Indiegogo.
Thank you.
I think then that I was number 2.
2.
Which most people would say I am number 2. So it's
Good
Lord.
Lord. Don't sell yourself too short.
Yeah, don't sell yourself too short. Come on.
Yeah, make yourself number one.
Yeah, make yourself number 1.
Yeah.
Okay, then I was number 1. I beat out Jimmy Palmiotti. No, that's
Well,
just
you're
that's
a
not
winner.
right. That's not right.
What?
Maybe I was number 1 on Kickstarter. How about that?
Well, did you back on Kickstarter or Indiegogo?
I not only backed on Kickstarter, I splurged and counted up all my pesos that I have down here because I'm down in Mexico, and picked up the frames cover to continue my trend of having tons and tons of frame art.
Oh, nice. Now, do you have any unframed art?
No, but I have some decommissioned art.
Excellent. Well, let's go through this campaign, Old Bean. Come on.
And I'm sorry, just dropping Jimmy a note to see if he wants to come on.
Yeah, I just sent him the link.
Oh, okay. All right. Great. Thanks, Nile.
And JC, if I may, Old Bean, you are
Yes.
not only an extraordinary editor, and packager, producer, that you do with your work for Overstreet and Gemstone, but you are a fantastic creator in your own right.
Oh,
And
thank-
I
thank
am
you, Billy.
over the moon proud that you'll be writing the next She comic, which will be She Gatecrasher, which debuts in 2023.
And we've been talking about that one for a good while, and
Yeah, about 4 years.
and it's and in all seriousness, we've had a lot of ideas for this for a long time, and there's stuff that's even older than that'll show up in this, and it has been since Shi Junen at Dark Horse that I actually got to write. Of course, I've played editor for you on a couple of these projects, and particularly Return of the Warrior trilogy.
Yes.
And it's always exciting to me when you see how, I mean, it just grabs me the way that you are unafraid to make your character older, and that we don't know what went on in the 15 years we weren't seeing her.
Mm-hmm.
And
MILFs are like the new 20-year-olds, you know?
Oh, God, yeah.
And it's,
I mean,
and
look at
it's
Jimmy.
really-
I mean, he's ages like a fine wine.
He ages like a MILF.
He ages like a MILF.
Palmiotti.
Jimmy!
So I was the first one to back your campaign, JC,
Thank you very much, Jimmy.
and I picked up the Dan Lawless cover because I thought it just kicked ass. So
Oh, yeah.
as a big
Thanks.
fan,
That's
I'm a
awesome.
big fan of Dan's from way back. So had to get that cover. So I was number 1. I just randomly it popped up in my feed, and I was like, okay. And I went and I'm like, oh my God, nobody backed this yet. And I'm like, I'm the first one. So I think I am. When you check the names,
That's
you know,
great.
that
I
a
look-
dollar gets you a dollar, I know, but still, it was kind of fun.
listen, that's really cool. And
Jimmy, your best friend's here.
And here is the cool thing that I can say right now, because our goal was not huge. We're funded.
Excellent.
Woo! Wow.
All right. Well, that's okay.
5
So
minutes?
That's the bare minimum. Now let's
let's
try to
keep
move this
going.
along, and let's be able to actually afford to pay for this book to get done and printed.
Nice. You got 2
And-
backers on Indiegogo right now and 4 on Kickstarter.
Well, somebody must have bought the art on the right, because
Yeah.
somebody asked me. They said, "Hey, did you buy the art?" And I said, "No, I just bought the book, and I have too much art, to be honest with you." So
Nice.
But
And
yeah.
Herrenberg says, "Hail Jimmy, Blevins BFF. I just bought the 2-step trade on Saturday during Free Comic Book Day at New Dimensions."
oh, thank you for that. And Brian Blevins, where are you, buddy? Did he win the election or something? I always think he's up for some election or something.
Oh yeah,
He's
he's
trying to be
running for mayor for his city.
What? He's the mayor now?
He's running
He's
for
trying
mayor.
it.
No, it's in
Oh, he's
November.
running. I thought he won.
No, not
I
yet.
think he's in the registering process.
I mean, if he wins, I think we should all go to that town and go wilding.
Oh my God, you want to do that? Yes.
Let's riot. Let's riot. And
Who's up in riot?
Burn a cop car and-
like, it's
Yeah.
fine. The mayor's our friend. Don't worry about it. Another round on the mayor.
Well, that's what I think. If we get arrested, we just kind of plead that, like,
The mayor.
Yeah, I know the mayor.
Carjack an Uber, throw the driver out like Grand Theft Auto style.
That's yep.
Say, what are you going to do to me? What are you going to do to me? Go ahead. I
Yeah,
know
you can
the man.
stuff me in the trunk.
Again.
JC will be standing over him. Back my buck.
That's great. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? Call the mayor.
I have a question for JC on this.
Please.
Why is the goal so low?
The goal is so low because honestly, I decided on this that I'm just going to do something a little different. I'll worry about the direct market later.
So you just wanted to brag that you got full campaign pledged in 7 minutes?
No, I've actually listen. The whole thing about this is that right now I can't do the whole graphic novel at once. There's just no way I can get that done. Doing it in small bites like this, I can get it done and do everything that I'm doing during the day.
Because I want to hire all your artists if that was all it took to fund it. I
No.
want to hire all your guys because it's like, what is that, like $3 a page?
Yeah.
Wait, per page?
You know, I think maybe eventually we'll just get down to paying people by the panel.
I actually for art. See, I guess I've been doing it wrong because I pay art by the pound.
By the pound.
Wait, we're getting paid?
I would be wetting my pages when I hand them into you.
Dan, your connection's fading out, Dan.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah.
Jimmy, do you remember the time that you sent me a package when you inked some pages and you sent them, you FedEx them to my house in the box, and all it was a whole bunch of those peanuts.
Yes.
The styrofoam peanuts, and then a set of ears.
Yeah.
Like giant rubber ears, and a note. It says, "Mrs. Tucci, please fork over. We kidnapped Billy. Whatever. Here's the proof. Fork over $1,000 if you ever want to see your son again."
That was a long time ago.
It was like 25 years ago.
Yeah, I remember one time. Let's see if you remember this, Billy. I remember one time I went to your place in Queens.
Yeah.
And we were looking out the window at the park across the street.
Thank you, Pops.
Do you remember that?
I do. I think I know you're talking about.
Okay.
Yeah, I remember that.
Thank you to Pops Van Sant for placing the link around.
Yeah, there you go.
We were in Queens, Arkansas, though, or Queens, South Carolina.
Sure.
It would have been okay there. Yeah.
It might as well have been. Yeah.
Stick with that story.
So JC, so what's the goal here? Is it $2,000 and then you're out? Or
no, really. Listen, there's a whole bunch of stuff that I want to do that I'm not going to do just to do it. But the baseline here is that it's a 32-page comic. We want it to be a 48-page comic.
Right.
Everything is done, and it really just it's like
printed?
literally almost ready to go to the printer in either version. And we want to do that. We are already working on the second issue. I'm writing the third issue, and it's some of the most fun stuff I've done. And Jimmy, I think you'll appreciate that it's easily one of the most violent things I've ever written, and I just sat here laughing as I was doing it. It was very therapeutic.
If you can't laugh at the violence, you're not doing it right. Like, it has to be so absurd.
Yeah.
And over the top. It's why I enjoy Tarantino, because he just kind of like
can it beat the violence of like this one, which has like impalings and just that's why I bought this, is because of just the beautiful inking and the violence that is happening in it.
And there you go.
It's just stunning.
What's really funny with the frames is I tend to write a lot of violent montages, and in this one you'll see right here, it's not montage. It's great. It's just like Al Capone has opened warfare on the other gangs in Chicago.
Nice.
And it's the results. And this is even before he gets to the vampire gangs. This is just the regular gangs.
He's just
got a guy impaled on a stop sign there, guy with pole cues sticking out of his eyes. And, it was just very therapeutic after COVID to write this.
And who drew the inside?
Brendan and Brian frame, and my colorists are called House Magi. They're working off of the model that Mark Wheatley created in the original miniseries, the coloring scheme.
Okay.
Nice, man. Interiors are clean. I like them. And we got a message here from Blevins. Howdy, Tex. What's up, Mikey Magic Pants? Up, Scala. Hey, Teen Sensation. If I get elected, I will definitely allow lawlessness.
He's going to regret saying that. I regret it.
You're totally going to regret saying that, dude.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
But he means lawlessness. Dan lawlessness.
Hey, Dan, did you color that cover?
Yeah. Yeah.
So did
As a matter of fact, if you look at the line art, you'll see the that it had to be colored by me because it's mostly illustrated.
Right. I was looking at that and I was saying I couldn't imagine you handed that to somebody else to figure it out unless you like really insanely trusted the person.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sculpting, I'm painting it basically, in Photoshop, anyways.
It's beautiful.
Beautiful.
I love the lighting on Capone's face, like it's sort of like it caught a strip of light just right there.
Yep.
Luckily, I have been informed. I forgot his nickname Scarface, and he's got a big scar. Luckily, it's on the other side of the face. You can't see because I didn't put it in there.
Dan, in all sincerity, I would have caught that if it was. Yeah. If we had gone the wrong direction, but when I saw this piece, I was just blown away. And guys, what Dan hasn't said here is the girl on the back cover and the guy with the tentacles coming out of his faceplate. That's from the backup story that I'm really counting is going to be in there. Dan and I did this story for Scott Braden and Mike Malbrough's Kent Menace. We were handed basically a sketch of the character with the tentacles and a name, the Retro Mariner. And I wrote a 6-pager, turned it in. Dan just crushed it. But as soon as Scott Braden got the script, he called me and goes, "This is part 1, right?" And so suddenly now it's a 3-parter, but we're gonna run the other parts in ours, presuming everything works out on Scott's end and that we fund to the level we need to, which we will.
Yeah, and you guys, that particular, I could show a couple of pages. It's painted the same way the cover is, the whole thing.
Wow.
6 pages.
Can you share it?
Love to see that.
Yeah,
absolutely. Why don't we show the first couple pages of that, Dan?
Hang on a second. I got to turn my screen on. It's going to take a minute, guys, so hang on.
Talk amongst ourselves.
So, who are these? Who are the characters on the covers?
Well, that's what we were just talking about, Billy.
Debbie called me about it.
Specifically, who are they?
Damn it, I'm sorry. But she said,
okay, but this time make it interesting, is what Billy's saying.
I have a feeling this book's about vampires.
Yeah, the girl's name is Euthanasia, and the guy in the back is the Retro Mariner.
What's
the
his name?
Retro Mariner.
The Retro Mariner. The name of the story is The Rime of the Retro Mariner.
And who is that? Is that Doc Ostrich on the other cover, the frame cover? If we scroll back.
Adino, it's speaking like a pirate.
I posted the campaign on me Twitter.
Oh,
Kenneth loves the colors. Really peculiar.
Is this book rated R?
Oh, where's the gong, Billy?
Is it an adult book? JC.
It is.
Thanks for joining, Jimmy.
It's not aimed at kids, but no, it's pretty close to general audiences.
No, if we scroll down and you had the cover, I think it was a frame right there.
Looks like Nicole Kidman.
Yeah, explain this cover.
Okay, explain. Okay, what's really funny for somebody who's done multiple covers for me, Billy. These are our characters.
I mean, for those out there, the uninitiated, the ones that may not know.
Oh, for other people. I'm sorry. I thought you meant for you. Okay.
That's a Super Soaker 150 right there.
Yeah, that's Scuba Dave holding the Super Soaker. The blonde is Dee Dee. She is now.
They look like sea breasts. They don't look like these. But go ahead. Sorry.
Thank you. Thank
There
you.
you go. Thanks, Billy.
Dee Dee is
More like a fluffy bee.
now a vampire against her will.
They call it double D
Dean,
though. Is that DD?
Thank you.
Yeah.
Dean is the vampire hunter and HVAC repairman. And Jocelyn down there in the corner is our normal lead vampire, but she's sort of being supplanted by Al Capone.
The guy in the brown shirt, what's his name?
Dean. He's
And
actually
if he
literally.
bends over, does he bend over? Those things stab him in the stomach.
No, he's very careful about that.
Oh,
He
okay.
is actually, the whole darn thing started when I wrote a short story that was called Vampire Hunter Dean, and all it was me jacking with the title of Vampire Hunter D. It literally, that's where the whole thing started.
Why not?
All right. Do you want to show those pages Dan's got?
Yeah,
up?
I'm ready to go.
Yeah, let's see Dan's pages.
There's the
Oh,
first, there's
yeah.
the first page.
Wow.
Dude, come on, man. This stuff
Wow.
is stunning. Look
Wow.
at that. And this is in that book?
Yeah, this will be in our book. It's also in
holy
Kent
shit.
Menace, but
I'm
it's
so
going
glad
to
I
be in
backed
this
it
one
now.
too. And I think a lot of different people will see it with us with this. And
That's
oh,
beautiful.
by the way, Dan did the lettering too. He did everything.
Wow.
Holy shit. That's incredible. Dan,
colors
that's
are
amazing.
Awesome.
Yeah, nice. Nice. Again, I like the focused theatrical lighting
Yeah.
from the skin. You know, I
Tremendous.
think it's great.
Yeah, it's a little tricky
It's
because
like
you
that
got.
golden
I
age
didn't
of
have a
film.
real light source, so I had to kind of make it up, But because she's got, she would be silhouetted, obviously, so I had to kind of play with that to make it work.
Right.
So
Yeah, it's terrific. Love it.
here's another page from it.
Frickaboom.
I love
look
your
at this.
palette. I love that
I
he-
look at his reaction when he's heard the explosion. Right.
It's got a Dave Stevens feel.
It's
Yeah.
exactly what I'm saying.
Yes.
Dave Stevens doing Alien Worlds.
Yeah, yeah.
But I love the colors that you add to the flesh.
Yes,
Yes.
that's for
Using
I'm a
various
Frazetta
of
nut, and
Tan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
so
I
that's
can see
just
it.
Frazetta.
I can
That's
see
a
it
real
in the hair.
hair, though.
And
Fried
I, of
the
course, anytime I have a big explosion, Dan makes an appearance.
It's great.
And of course, it's got to be Fragaboom,
That's what I mean. That's I just remember Fraga yelling that at the Pittsburgh Comic Con like 107 years ago, and it just always cracked me up, man. So anytime I need a big sound effect, that's been in The Flight and in various other comics that I've written.
It's funny you said
if you
Dave Stevens.
Dan, you've always, lately you're coloring your stuff, right? Or is
Yeah.
it something you've been doing for a while?
Just I have been out of comics for a while, but when I do my own personal fun stuff, I color it. And now with crowdfunding, this is the first time that I could do even think about doing comic books, because I can, I can't do this on a monthly scale. No way, no monthly time frame.
Yeah.
But if I've got time, then I can do this. Now I want to do comics again, because I wasn't interested in doing comics unless I can do them really, really well.
Yeah.
And
It's looking great.
thanks. Yeah, I mean, you guys mentioned Dave Stevens. That's a Dave Stevens face. I'm a fan, and I'm pulling from all these guys who are really, really good. Frazetta and then Wrightson and Dave Stevens, and just and I started with Buscema, and so I got good figure training basically from all these great guys.
Yeah, terrific. Looks great.
And
Thanks.
we like a lot of the same storytelling guys too, Dan.
Yeah, Walt Simonson. That was when Jeff's like sending me a script. He goes, he actually sent me a page or a panel from Walt Simonson's one of his stories, and I'm like, okay, I got it. And I actually, when I work on a story, I love more information rather than less. Just give me everything you got, and then I'll take it and kind of bounce it around and see what I can come up with. But I like the collaboration. Jeff, as you know, I'm working with Scott, Braden a lot, and we're kind of going back and forth with the ideas, and it's fun,
It really is, and for his part, Scott's really created a playground and invited a lot of people into it, and that's been a lot. That part's been a lot of fun.
Well, I probably should show his the Kent Menace stuff, which
oh yeah, you should definitely show some of that.
Because this piece, this is one of those pieces that I did really fast, but it was like I had a day to do it, and it just was a riot.
That's awesome.
It reminds me of Mr. Monster a little bit too.
Yeah.
Dude, nice.
Oh my God.
So it's Kent Menace is he goes through time and fights monsters, sea monsters and that sort of thing. So he's kind of got that that sea fair kind of look.
Hello, greetings from Peru. Hello, welcome.
Wow.
But there's your Frazetta colors in there in the arms. And stuff.
Yeah.
And then I pulled out there's actual old products from the 70s. Like you can find anything online. So I got VO5 hairstyle, Robitussin.
Frank used to layer the painting. He used to paint it and then layer it on top and then keep painting over it. And that's why he got like so many colors he would put into things, because he would keep layering. He would keep correcting his paintings. Like his wife literally had to pull them out of the house.
I know.
And while I was at his house once, he actually had the cover for Vampirella 1, and he was painting the bathing suit out. He was painting Vampirella's costume out, and I asked him, I said, "What are you doing?" He goes, "Hey, it's my painting, man. I don't want her to have clothes on. I'm taking it off." And I'm just like, okay, I'm not gonna argue with you. That looks great though, man.
Here's the cover for first Kent Menace.
Kent Menace, nice.
Now, Dan, do you work traditionally with your pencils and then your inks, or you do it all digitally now?
All digitally, but I don't know if I want to do that. I like this cover here. I drew it in pencil, scanned it in, and colored it. But I just did that, that two-fisted manly tales.
Yeah.
And that kicked my butt. It was just because when you do digital, you are zooming in, and when you do that, you end up really doing a much larger surface area. So it took me, it was a bite to get that thing done on time. So I think I'm gonna go back to drawing it scanned, because this one is drawn, scanned in, and then colored. I left a lot of it, the drawing open for the water, because I knew I was gonna just basically paint that water. But it's actually easier, I think, frankly, to draw it.
When did you how did you get into doing the digital stuff?
I'm in advertising, so I do storyboards. So it just, I still, draw stuff in pencil and scan it in. But, I don't know. I've been just painting on the computer for a long time. I've been illustrating on the computer for a long time. So I can't even remember when I started that, but it's
you're definitely a master, bro.
Thanks.
I remember you did cover for me. Didn't you do I want to say barbed wire for Dark Horse, right?
Yeah, I did barbed wire. Yeah.
You did. That's what I remember. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, that's probably my best stuff.
Yeah.
So
it was a while ago, but it was great. I remember picking it up. So
yeah, that's when I hit my stride. I mean, I felt, some of the Marvel stuff was pretty cringy, the early stuff, as is with most of us starting out.
Yeah.
And but then barbed wire came along. That was when I got it right, and I liked that stuff the most, really. I also like Dark Horse. Dark Horse was just cooler to work.
Yeah.
Marvel just didn't seem to. It's too much of a machine. It doesn't. I need a person to work with, and that kind of thing.
Was that Randy Stragley at the time?
I think it was. Yeah, but
Chris Warner, I guess. Or
I forget exactly who I was working with directly there, but I don't know. It was just a cool story, fun stuff.
I remember it.
Their whole universe was kind of cool. Actually, I liked it. So it reminds me of this. I just like the independence. You just have so much more freedom, and it's fun. And honestly, for me, like if you ask me, hey, draw Batman, like I don't want to draw Batman. There's so many great artists have drawn Batman. It would just be one more Batman. You know what I mean? It's boring to me, really.
It's true.
Even if I did a good job with it, I'd be just like, okay, another Batman looking over the city for the 1 millionth time. I'm interested in new characters. This Kent Menace character, when Scott came to me with this Kent Menace character, I said, there's the character I want to work on. That's fun, It's pulpy, it's crazy, it's monsters, it's can't miss, really,
That's why crowdfunding's so great. You can just
you get ideas like Al Capone Vampire,
Exactly, right?
I mean, that's great.
Isn't that really the truth of it? I could go around and pitch this to about 1 million people, and still be sitting there doing nothing, or I could just start doing it.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's what's so great is that we have the opportunity to do it now, like never before, to create, to self-publish new books. It's never been like this. It's never been easier to make your own comics and get them out there.
And never been more fun. I mean, I was working on this. You know, Billy, you had your show going on, and Jeff was on it, and I'm in the chat, and I literally said in the chat, Jeff, I'm doing your cover right now. As I'm listening to you guys, I'm actually working on this cover, and that's a heck of a lot of fun. You know, Jeff's like, oh, cool. You know,
it really is the coolest thing about it. You know, the unfortunate reality is like, hey, we're all at a distance, and you know, maybe with COVID, it was a great thing, but we can still collaborate. We can still get the energy of just having that spontaneous kind of interaction like Dan just described. And also, you know, I've been on the show talking to somebody, when Howie was on, I hired him to do a Dick Tracy illustration for the guy right on the air, because it just hit us, you know?
Yeah. Can we just really quick, if anyone follows Howie Noldishin or Noel, he went off, like he's always wanted to do Dick Tracy, but the dominoes haven't fallen that way yet. So he's working on his own called The Clue. And if you follow him on Instagram, it's incredible. I love what he's doing. Jimmy, are you a Dick Tracy fan?
I did like when Kyle Baker did it.
Yeah.
And you know, I like the movie too. I was one of those people that loved the movie. I thought the movie was great. But the old strips, I thought that was so bizarre. You know, I liked the style because everybody had their own like weird,
distinct like deformity.
Yeah, like I you know,
like
yes, deformity. They were all like creepy and weird and stuff.
I heard that.
I mean, the art wasn't pretty. It was unique and weird, you know?
Yeah.
On the strip. It was just different.
Soul off.
But you're better off creating your own Dick Tracy. That's what I always say.
Absolutely, brother. Absolutely.
Yeah.
There you go. And you're almost to $1,000 here.
Heck yeah, man.
There you go.
There you go.
Oh, we need to get some more backers on Indiegogo.
Let's do this.
Let's do this. Come on.
Come on.
It would be really good if we hit the 1,000. That's the first stretch goal. And I realize some of these are.
Are you going to take off your shirt if we hit $1,000? You're going to do the rest of the show shirtless?
No, I will. As a matter of fact, I will definitely not do that. That's
you put on a shirt if we hit 1,000.
Yeah, an extra
one. The shirt over that one.
Yes.
If you don't buy this book, I'm taking my shirt off. Right? That's the way to do it.
How much for the pants?
Actually, if we hit $1,000, Soloff will send you a photo op with his bedroom door.
Hey,
oh, look at that.
Thank you.
That's wonderful.
Welcome to Mexico.
Oh, look at that. Oh, hell yeah.
Look at that. Who'd have thought, huh?
Yeah. Hey, guys, if I mind, maybe to just to mention Mr. George Perez. And if anyone, I mean, we all know that we lost George last Friday. And if anyone's got any stories to tell, I mean, we've all had dinners with him. We've all, you know, enjoyed his company. He truly was a prince of a man. I mean, I have, and I know Jimmy has, and Jeff and Soloff have. But you guys have anything you want to share about George Perez, his art, or a fun story about George, or anything like that?
I got a quick one.
Celebrate him.
I got a quick one. I was probably like 15 or 16 or 17 when I met George. He was one of the first pros I met. And I asked him for a sketch, and he goes, "What do you want?" And I said, "Logan's Run," you know? And he's like, no, you want something else. And I'm like, I don't know. Anyway, he wound up drawing me Wolverine, he was in Brooklyn. He was in a comic convention in a hotel in Sheepshead Bay, Brooklyn. He was the only one of the first professionals I ever met. And he was just sitting there drawing and being super, super sweet. And you know, I idolized his work, you know, obviously. And then when we did Event Comics, I approached him and, you know, said, you know, please, you know, I'd love to publish anything you want to do. And he did, I got it at CGC, the Crimson Plague he did for us. That was it. I think that was his first creator. It was either that or Saxon Violence. I don't remember.
But that one was, but Crimson Plague was his.
Right.
Yeah, Saxon Violence was with John Byrne, right?
No, it was with Peter David, right?
Peter David.
Yeah, Peter David.
Anyway,
here we go. I just got I had it I know it's like in a plastic tomb, but it is signed by George, and you know,
That's great.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's pretty.
it's the only event comic I have in a CGC.
Yeah, I
my
have
own
like
stuff.
one book.
I'm like, I don't want to look at that.
Yeah.
You know. But anyway, he was really sweet, and my favorite quote from him is when I started, you know, when I was doing Harley and everything, we were talking about, you know, he was talking about the success of it and blah blah blah, and I said, I said, George, I'd give anything to write a book with you drawing it, and he goes, yeah, I know you would. That's what he said to me. That was pretty funny. But you know, sweet guy. Just you want to, you know, even though I got to know him and everything, he still was like that George Perez superstar guy. So
Yeah.
even though I, you know, spent time with him, I published it, I never got out of that zone. You know, of being sort of like a fanboy with them. Like he had friends.
I felt the same way. He never treated me anything but great, and I hired him twice to do guide covers, and he was pretty fat and happy with JLA Avengers money, and cut me a real break on the price on one of them. And when he at a time where he could have gone the exact opposite direction, and I would have paid it.
Right.
And I just thought that was like real representative of him, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I just thank God that Jeff got me into this business 20 some odd years ago. And through that, I have been able to meet some of the most amazing people. And George was one of them. And when I first started working with Jeff, with Scoop, I just had so much fun going around, and I had a little column, 10 questions, which were never 10 questions, but 10 questions with various artists. And George was one of the first people that I picked to interview. And I will never forget his answers, not only because they were so beautifully thought out, but one of them I still tell the story to this day because it just stuck with me. I asked him what his proudest moment was. And he said, my proudest moment in life is probably the fact that I love my wife more passionately every single day. I just am so in love with her. And that answer just blew me away. It had nothing to do with the industry. It had nothing to do with anything else, but it was just how he dealt with relationships and things like that. And
was that his first wife or his second wife? No, I'm kidding. That's a joke. Very bad joke. Sorry about that. Don't want to ruin the moment. Just well, they were. You know, she made all those shirts for him. Remember all those crazy shirts, and she would find these wild patterns and just knock out shirts for him. I thought that was pretty damn cool.
Indy, no, my wife is comic books. Don't judge me.
Well, hey, you know.
Hey, Jim, isn't you mentioned being a fan? Don't you still like being a fan, though? I mean, I don't want to lose that, you know?
I am. I ask Billy every time I'm around Billy. I you know, I'm a little nervous.
Yeah, and he's shaking.
Sweaty palms.
Sweaty palmiati. That's
Sweaty palmiati.
You know, I still am. You know, I hate that we're losing a lot of the guys that I worshipped. You know, like Neil was one. Every show I would go and sit with him at the show. I'd just sit next to him, and he would start telling me how to make $1 million. You know, he would tell me all this crazy stuff. You know, and I would see him sitting there drawing and talking to me, and like my brain was exploding because I was like, I'm sitting next to Neil Adam, he's talking to me like I'm like a contemporary of his.
Yeah.
You know, I had to say, you know, with Joe Kubert, and I remember going to Spain and meeting Jordi Bernet, and you know, like he didn't speak a word of English, but we just sat there and looked at each other with a beer, and we kept naming comic artists and laughing and toasting, you know. Like,
that's great.
But yeah, I mean, I remember Al Williamson invited me to his house, and I like driving up to Pennsylvania. I kept thinking, I'm going to Al Williamson's house. Like,
why? You know, the great thing about it is when you start interacting with these guys, and they like you enough to start jacking with you.
Oh yeah. Well,
I had a really good interview with Al Williamson and did a piece for the Price Guide. And then I met him in person and brought a copy for him to sign. And he just mad as hell just goes, "You misquoted me."
Oh,
And I was like really, really early in my career. And for whatever reason, I just got the gumption and said, "No, I didn't." And he goes, "Oh, okay."
Cool.
You know, I was telling Billy because, you know, obviously when George passed and everything, I've never had a personal moment with him besides the typical, you know, you meet him at a convention, stand at the table and talk to him. And he was always very nice to everyone. But I was like thinking, I was telling Billy this, I don't know if it was yesterday or something on the phone. I was like, you know, we're at that point where we're losing so many great creators, right? Just because of time, right? And, you know, I think was it John Romita, I think, is what the last one left of the original bullpen.
and Johnny's 93.
Yeah.
Whoa.
So I mean, he's hopefully not soon, but you know, again, you're getting all these creators, but it's like, you know, as we're losing many guys that were just, you know, prolific in this industry, I don't really. There's nothing backing up. You know, like, you know, once the big players of the 90s and everything goes, sorry, gentlemen, like, you know, we really aren't building up that same fame in this industry. You know, it kind of it takes me back a little, you know.
Yeah, I there was a funny thing I mentioned to somebody. It was like, I said, take any of those top 10 wizard lists from, you know, 15, 20 years ago and look at them now, and it's still around half of the people on the list is still the top guys in the industry.
yeah.
Oh my God, you're right.
You know,
You're right.
and but also, you know, I mean, like I said, we're all in the somewhat same age bracket in a way, right? So if we had a 20-year-old fan, they'd probably be mentioning 5 to 6 other people that made a big influence on them. But
Yeah.
you know, but these are the guys. We're losing the guys that taught all of us how to do it. That's
the
what
guys
we're
that started
losing.
the industry.
Yeah,
exactly.
You know, because I like I said, I'm it just blows my mind sometimes. And think about, you know, we've all been lucky, right? Because we've had these people in our, you know,
Yep.
making books while we were buying them, you know.
Yeah.
I think of John Romita. It's funny you mentioned John Romita because I think of John all the time because he was so nice to me when I first started at Marvel. He would come over and just stand over my shoulder and say, you know, you might want to move that arm a little bit, or, you know, and then he'd walk away. But he was like, you know, that was John. Like, he was just this helpful, sweet guy that could draw a romance comic and then put Spider-Man in it.
Yeah.
You know, and it kicked
His
ass.
son is the same way, isn't he?
Johnny, yeah, Johnny's he's a sweetheart. I mean, you know, Billy and I know John pretty well. Nicest guy, you know. I think he has the world record for the most sketches ever done in a row.
Oh,
Because he did that in New York. He stayed like 24 hours and did sketches for people. Like, Johnny's you know, he got it a lot from his dad, and Johnny grew up around you know, guys like John Buscema were in Johnny Jr.'s life.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because you'll see videos. There's old videos of John Romita Jr. and John Buscema and Stan Lee, and, you know, Johnny grew up with a lot of great, talented uncles around him, showing him the ropes. You know,
I was at a show in New York with Billy, and John Jr. was there, and I went up to him, and I was working at Jeppy's Museum at the time, and I had an idea for an exhibit on 9/11. And I walked up to John Jr. and I said, hey, you know, I have this idea. Is there any way that I could possibly get, you know, just one little piece that you did from the 9/11 issue of Spider-Man? And he looks down and he's like, well, tell you what, how would you like everything? And I was like, excuse me? He's like, I have every single page. I have every single panel. How would you like that? And he just offered me everything. And I was like, oh my God. The guy behind me went, and I went, yeah, what he just said. That's a yes. That's a yes. So that he was just such an amazingly nice guy too.
It's why the art's so expensive now, you know, from all these guys, because there's like a lot of people like us that wanted just one page and they're fighting over that stuff.
Oh yeah.
You know, I mean,
yeah, you realize like the art market, while it's exploding right now, we're still in its infancy, really, because what you get is somebody who buys a whole issue and breaks it up so they can afford to keep the page they want.
Yeah.
Right.
Rather than people who collect whole issues.
Yeah, I mean, I've never been rich enough to say, "Hey, I'll buy that."
Listen, I'm right there. The only stuff I have is from people I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Wasn't
weird.
when Jim Lee did the X-Men #1 in '91, he sold that entire issue for only $20,000, I think.
Well, Bill, didn't you just put out as a bonus like the entire art for something that you did?
Really?
On like a Kickstarter, or couldn't you buy that? I thought I saw that. Did I misunderstand?
Oh, I sell this. Yeah, the 72 pages of the book they get. Somebody buys 72 pages. My
Your
art
roughs,
for,
right?
for like the new SAKURA book and the cover for $5,000.
You know what's funny is when you're in a
60,
position where
62 pages, not 72.
it's
62.
funny when you're in a position where you can't buy your own art. Like, I can't afford me, you know. Like, I did that, but I can't afford to even buy that.
I still have a lot. I still have so much of the stuff I inked. But if I don't like the person anymore, or they rub me the wrong way, I just dump it. I don't want to look at it anymore, so I get rid of it. But I still got a stack. It's probably like,
now you're gonna get bombarded with like messages. If you're throwing anything out, let me know what you have.
I don't throw it out. I just sell it, get rid of it. You know, I sell it. I bring a lot of pages. Billy see me. I bring them to the show and I'll put them in a box and I'll say, you know, okay, $60-$70 a page. Pick through whatever you want. People are like,
oh yeah.
You know, a lot of them don't even have characters on them, but then you get like some great artists that just doing their thing. You know.
Yeah.
Some do.
Jimmy, you were officially #1 on Kickstarter.
Nice.
Who's that?
Are you? What'd you say, Jeff?
I was. Jimmy was the #1 backer on Kickstarter.
Oh,
I have to say what's sticking in my head still. Sorry, Billy, to cut you off. But Jimmy, when you were talking about, having John Romita over your shoulder, you know, that almost like that apprenticeship type thing. That's just something that's like going the way of the dodo bird. I feel, again, kind of with this industry that is, you know, I feel that, and that's like the best way to learn, I would think.
I mean, it was when they had a bullpen, you know, so of course it was, when I started, I used to, at 5 o'clock, the bullpen would empty out and I would go in there with me and Mark Texera and we'd go in there and sit there and work, and guys like Johnny would still be working, and an artist would still be in the company. So, they used to come by, and it's why I picked up a lot of my first work up there. But, apprenticeships are tough now because let's ask anybody here to have somebody standing there, it's just delays your work. Your brain has to go everywhere. I do like the idea that some comic artists like George Pratt teach, they go out and teach. And I think if I had the money or time, I'd run to a George Pratt painting classes.
Here's a weird question. How often do you guys work, I mean, like in the room or meet as opposed to Zooming or talking to someone in Italy with the actual artists, writers, colorists, whatever that you're dealing with for your books? Is it still a personal thing for you? Yeah, I know you talk a lot on the phone, but I mean, is it actual face-to-face stuff?
I try if I can. I mean, I was just in Belgium and I met with Morissette, who's the guy I worked with, and we talked about doing something else. But everybody's all over the world. It's kind of tough. I mean, conventions are, let's be honest, we love conventions. It's great to see the fans, but it's also great to see the other pros. So we can complain about how much we're getting ripped off by everybody.
Yeah.
It's fun,
Yeah. Like with Zombie Summit, like John Brolia lives near me. So John and I don't live far from each other, so we see each other.
I like John. Say hi to John for me.
We saw him Saturday and we hung out with Elvis impersonator. That was the most surrealist thing.
That was funny as hell.
We have free comic book day, Jimmy, and then we go and Jeff couldn't come. So let's go to a bar, get some wings and stuff like that. a local bar. We walk in, there's Elvis.
There's Elvis getting ready to what was it? Perform at some like 93 or 96-year-old
woman's 90th birthday party.
Oh, his 90th.
Yeah, but he was like Elvis, not quite Elvis from 1977, but probably let's say late 76.
She probably looks at him and misses her hips.
Yeah. Well, then he left in a Dodge Caravan.
Well, he kept taking a break in his Chrysler Town and Country.
Yeah.
Circa 2005.
Hey, thank God there's madness like that still out there somewhere,
And we have pictures to prove it.
Jimmy, did you do anything ordained for Free Comic Book Day?
I stayed out of the comic shop. That was my favorite of everyone. No, I couldn't make it. I had have a deadline I had to beat, but I gave a couple of cases of books to local comic stores to give away.
Oh, very nice.
So they were hardcovers. I had like a bunch of boxes of hardcovers and mostly adult material. And I said, give it to the kids because I hear that's a thing now. No, I had a lot of Gatecrasher trades and stuff like that, so I gave them to the local store. But I did it last year. It was kind of insane, I always ask the guys in the stores, so are there new customers you only see once a year? And he goes, actually, yeah. He goes, he goes, my regular customers come in. They know we put aside stuff for them, but they said that we do have once a year. They come out of their trailer, get their free comics, and they go back in.
Nice. Bernie online. Good evening from Ecuador. What's going on?
Bernie? Hello, Bernie.
I have an issue. I have an issue with Free Comic Book Day. I have an issue with it because,
so to speak.
Okay, so we're selling the books to the same people that go to the comic shop every week. I think Free Comic Book Day should be like if I'm on a highway and I stop at a toll booth, they should hand me a free comic. If I'm in a doctor's office, there should be a free comic. If I'm in McDonald's, there should be free comics.
What Jetpack up in New Hampshire does?
No.
They take whatever the total number of books there are, like 30 or 40 or whatever it is. They find other businesses in town and they put one title here, one title there, and you have to go. It's a scavenger hunt.
I love it.
And all the other businesses are involved. I love it when people get the libraries involved. People that give 5 free comics to their regular customers are really missing the point of this.
Yes.
And yeah, it's great to celebrate comics, and maybe they try something new. That's good. But the real thing is we got to stop preaching to the choir.
Yeah. And that's my problem. I mean, I would love if every bar had free comics that day. I just need somebody else new to read it. I get the comic people and I get the collecting aspect of it, but are we really bringing in new readers with these things? And that's the thing. So for me, it's like Free Comic Book Day should be a little more of a universal event of non-comic people celebrating it.
Well, yeah, which is a bigger pie. The people reading comics, the people not reading comics.
Yeah,
we need to stop strip mining the pie we have and start getting somebody else's pie.
Yeah, I mean, there's more people in a football stadium than there are buying comics right now. In a way, and I remember when I was young, I went to a Mets game, and Mary Jane married Peter Parker at the game, and they gave out comics to everybody there. They gave out that wedding comic.
Oh, I
thought it was the coolest thing because when everybody left, half of the people left the comics. So I took stacks of them and sold them. But anyway, that's a separate story. But I like the idea that they tried to give comics to people who haven't read comics in a while. And, I would handle it a little differently than them. I get it that, the comic stores also make extra money that day. And I like that, but
well, honestly, there's a lot of things, and I'm just bringing this up because I found them and rediscovered them, but there's a lot of things that the comic industry used to do, partnering with other brands to get comics in the hands of kids and other adults as well. I mean, Drake's Cakes used to do these mini comics.
I remember those, man.
Right? They did that. High C would have, reprints of the books in the packages. I mean, there's a bunch of different things that were being done. None of it is done now.
No, when Amanda and I were doing Harley Quinn, I was getting these loot crates. Somebody gifted me a year worth of loot crates. And when I went to San Diego, I went to the loot crate booth and I said, "Can I do a comic book just for you guys?" And I said, "I can get DC to okay a Harley comic if you guys, you know, pay a certain amount towards it." And I brokered that deal for DC, and they sold 550,000 copies to Loot Crate.
What's that? What's Loot Crate?
Of the Harley book. What's that, Billy?
What is that? I never even heard of it.
So it's one of these subscription services where you'll subscribe for $30 a month or $25 a month, and you get a box, and it has all cool stuff like movie themed gifts and toys, specialty toys, or T-shirts with
like my Terminator skulls from a Loot Crate. They just got like a bunch of like tchotchkes. You get like some premium stuff and then a lot of tchotchke shit.
Right. They make like stuff they'll make it just for the Loot Crate. So the Harley book was for the Loot Crate. And then what I did is when I told DC, I said, okay, now we're going to add 10 more pages and you're going to put this out as a separate book. So it was just me making a lot of money. But at the same time, it's like 500,000 people, over 500,000 people who may not read comics got a comic that month.
Yeah.
To read. And I thought that's all they should be doing. I mean, I thought what the Dio did with Walmart was a pretty good idea with the 100 pagers. You know, it's just that Walmart treated them like garbage.
Well, it was typical. It was typical for Walmart in that it was an outside agency stocking those books.
Right.
And so they'd show up, put in some books, and leave. They weren't there. And also, DC had been kicking that around for a while, and I know Dan finally pulled the trigger on it, and I don't blame them. But they could have, you know, there's stuff that could have been handled better in terms of the direct market and in terms of Walmart.
Yeah.
But I think what we've learned through them and through Allegiance is that Walmart's not a universal panacea. It's not the answer to our problems.
No, and if we think of Walmart, we don't think of people reading too much.
Yeah.
I think the thing is you got to have, I mean, this is the new era, and you got to have the ability for someone to click on it one click away from receiving that comic book. It's enough. You guys are talking about, putting these comic books out and building the brand, but where's the point of sale? That's the thing that you got to focus on nailing down, the point of sale. And I think, like Malin is saying here, the YouTube is that point. You got to sell it, and then here you got to.
It's a different audience.
Click on it and get it. Yeah. They want that thing delivered. They want it by like everyone's getting stuff on Amazon. I'm getting stuff on Amazon.
Well,
you just want it, click it, you got it coming to your door.
Well, that's why Webtoons has certain strips on Webtoons have 5 million people subscribing to them.
Jeez.
Yeah. And you look at that and you're like, what are we doing wrong? And that's all over the world, right? They click on it, they vertical read their comic strip, and then if they want to. If they wait, it's for free. But if they can't wait, the next one is like a certain amount of tokens that you pay for it. But if you look at Webtoons, it's pretty brilliant. And both Marvel and DC, by the way, have comics on Webtoons. They just don't make any noise about it. But they both have strips on.
But do they make any money off of it?
Well, so how they make money is awareness of characters, awareness of the strips. So. Yeah, they have millions of people read those because they're free. And then you're thinking there's a generation that's 12 and 13 years old that read only comics on their phones, and they're going to read Marvel comics. Eventually, they're going to get older and have an interest in maybe picking up the books or whatever. But they're aiming right for a very young audience, and it's pretty smart, especially when you go to Japan and you see everyone reads their comics on the phone.
Yeah.
Vertical reading, vertical comics. Amanda's doing a vertical comic strip right now for that Zest World guys, and it's just going to be a vertical reading experience that she's doing. It's just another way of telling a story. So it's still comics. But it's definitely kids have a different way of absorbing the material they read right now. So we have
but they still like to get something in the mail though. Don't you like to get, I like to get something in the mail, open that mailbox, and it's something you can touch and look at and see, and I don't know, it's just
my problem is there's no mail in Mexico. I have not seen a letter, an envelope, or anything in over 3 years.
What part of Mexico are you in?
Right now, I'm in the heart of it, called San Miguel de Allende.
Oh, okay. So in the city.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
But literally, unless it's a package from FedEx or DHL,
With
we don't see
cocaine in
it.
it.
Yeah.
He's so high right now. Look what he did to his bedroom door.
Don't tell him it's a
When
door.
he takes
That's
the little
just-
mushrooms, she comes alive.
Yes, there you go.
No, but you know what too though is they have the whole. If you think about it, right? Like Dan kind of was talking about, well, they want to click away this and that, but in reality, every comic book publisher has an app, and what is in that app? A subscription, right? And then they're giving you their full catalogs of back issues in new comics, all in on demand now too. So again, stuff is there, but I think the delivery of getting it into new hands is just it's not there. It's like literally up to the parents or someone close to like younger, like my two kids, like, obviously because I'm into this stuff, Free Comic Book Day. What did I pick? Nothing really for me. I grabbed, some books for them.
Yeah, that's exactly what you were doing now.
They're going to destroy those books. I get it. But again, it's getting them into comics and stuff. And it's almost like it's up to the parents and whoever in the family is into it to kind of introduce kids to these comics. Because hell, man, all the kids I know, it's like they see a comic, they'll read it if they get it. But then they're like, oh, sweet, my boys are home. We're jumping on, Xbox, PS5. We're putting our headsets on and we're playing because they're part of the comic, right? They're interacting with one another. So why sit there and read this thing on a paper when they can go and actually be a part of a story?
That's
and
a good
I
point.
think the video game industry, like everyone's like, that's what cracks me up. Like, I get it. There's issues, there's drama in the entertainment industry, no matter what, acting, music, comics, whatever. If it's entertainment, there's drama. But it's like the real enemy is like technology. Because there's so many more VR games. There's so many more things that are just hell of a lot more interactive and entertaining than reading a comic.
But
we have that it built into us because that was how we grew up. So we keep.
I gotta say, I was of that mindset until a few years ago when I went out and gave free comics away at a non-comic event. The American Numismatic Association, which is the money and coin collectors, I went and gave a Free Comic Book Day away, and the kids were sitting down in the aisles. Bombs could have gone off, and they had never seen comics before, and they knew immediately what to do with them. So the failure of us as an industry to actually advocate for ourselves, the ANA is a great example. They've had a lobbyist for 100 years. Our industry, we can't get Marvel and DC to get along long enough for us to have an industry association that's everybody from the collectors on up to the publishers to the printers. We behave ridiculously in this way, and we don't advocate for our own industry, which is nonsensical. But one of the things about this is that, listen, I'm all for these other forms of comics. I don't care whatever gets people reading comics. But the truth is, get comic books in their hands and we'll get some more readers.
Potentially, though.
No.
See, I kind of slightly disagree because I've given books to so many kids. They're engaged, but they're not saying, Mommy, Daddy, take me to the comic book store.
They don't know about a comic store. That's what I'm saying. The problem is when I was a kid, you tripped over them everywhere.
This is so much fun.
You tripped over them everywhere. Now they don't know what it is. But I'm telling you, you take a kid, they don't know what it is, put it in their hand. If they are the age where they can read, if you connect with the right person, they're gone. People were having to step over the kids that I was giving these comics to.
So it's up to the parents to continue comics in the children's hands because of the failure that Jimmy Palmiotti is doing, trying to get these comics in children's hands.
Oh my God!
No, I'm just trying to get children.
Oh boy! Hello.
Oh, I'm sorry. We're talking about getting children's in vans, not comics in children's hands.
I think the thing we forgot about is also, the comics we grew up with had word balloons on the covers that we would read and then get pulled in.
Yeah, that's true.
The days of if you look at especially Marvel and DC right now, all they are is these posters of people standing around doing nothing.
Yeah,
like the character standing there and the character doing this, and how many times we see this stupid, and there's no story, and then you look at the older comics, there's like all this shit going on. You're like, oh, I got to see what's inside this book, like this, we lost a lot of that. It's like everybody's doing pin. All I have is these guys go to me, hey Jimmy, I do covers. You want to cover? And I'm like, can you do any interiors? No, I can't do that. I can only draw pretty covers. And I'm like,
Yeah. Well, and the thing is too, like, wasn't there a point, and Dan was lamenting this a few years back at one of the retailer things, is how the DC reprints were outselling their new comics. Right? The collected editions, the reprinted books were outselling the new stuff.
It's because it's the same people buying this stuff,
Yeah, statistical says I think Darwin Cook was onto something with the original Parker hardcovers. They looked like regular books.
Yeah, I mean, I personally was not a big fan of Darwin's Parker books, and I'm probably the only one on earth, because all I kept seeing in my brain, I kept saying, Darwin, imagine you just write your own book and do your own character. Don't keep doing Parker books. I kept, because he would tell me all these great ideas he had, and I'd be like, why are you doing another Parker books? They already exist. Do your own book. Oh yeah, no, I just got 3 more of these to finish. And I used to get a little mental with him. I used to go, God, I wish you would just do something else besides those books. I think I was the only one person telling him that, but I just felt like I after seeing what he can do with other people's characters, I was like, that's great, but let me see some Darwin original characters.
Yeah, he could have done something like with all those stories. He could have turned them into, I don't know, George Storm, Private Detective.
Well, he had Darwin. I used to have lunch with him, twice a week, and he would tell me these. Oh, I got this other idea, and I'm like, oh, I wish you would draw that instead of doing another Parker book that exists already. But that was his Spider-Man, right? That was he always wanted to do. So he did those books. But I just, like, I was a guy, he passed away and he had a computer full of stories, and I wish he did his own stuff. And look, I love New Frontier. Don't get me wrong. I think New Frontier was a blueprint for DC to how to make comics, and they kind of ignored it.
Of course.
But like I said, I think he had so much more to add. I mean, we lost him way too soon, obviously.
Yeah.
But the last years of his life, he was doing a lot of Parker stuff, and I was just like, I can't wait till he's done.
Jimmy, I totally get what you're saying. I am a huge fan of the Parker stuff, and I am one of those prototypical people that will buy it just like Rocketeer in whatever edition you put it out in. Mm-hmm. But I totally respect your viewpoint on this, because this was a guy with a heck of a lot to offer us across so many different genres. Nile, the post that in the chat that Statistical Zero had right before the Darwin one, could you bring that up? Mm-hmm. Yeah. See, this is comics. This is my point. Just because we're not getting them to them in the form that I would prefer, which is monthly comics out there day in, day out, and all this stuff. These Dogman and this other and other books along those lines are selling a gazillion million copies.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And they are comics. And they are not digital.
Here's the question: where does this human element factor in now for the future of comics? Like what we're doing now, we're connecting directly with fans. It's personal now. You can actually see the person who's creating your comics. You can talk to them in the chat or even just come on their show. And that's a new thing. And that is selling comics.
You know what? It's a new thing, Dan, and it's a really old thing. We are in the Middle Ages and we have patrons.
Yeah. JC and Billy will understand this. When we started, me and Billy and Brian Polito and like all around that time, we were some of the first comic book people that kept putting our faces on things.
Yeah.
Like we would go out and do interviews. I know I spent a lot of time because I said, all right, I'm only an inker at this point. How am I going to get my name out there? And even when I started self-publishing with Event, I said, okay, I need to go to these cons. I need to do these interviews. I would drive up to Wizard and say, I'll do this article, but you have to put a picture of me in it. And then when Joe and I got Marvel Knights, the whole thinking for me was they need to see us and connect us with the characters. So when they see us at a con, it's more exciting. They recognize us, and there's something to that. And this is all before the computers and before all that stuff. And when we did Marvel Knights, we, one of the big reasons we took on, worked with Kevin Smith on Daredevil was we knew he would go out and sell Daredevil to, like, he was on Jay Leno and do that. And I just, and it's something I've always done with all the books I publish is I always put the creators' faces in the books.
Mm-hmm.
And I just think it's really important I always thought it was important for people to know who does the work they do. I mean, of course, now we have, the stream live and all that, and maybe we're over stimulated with stuff, but
Jimmy, if you go back to that great, it wasn't like a headshot, but the PR shot of you at the bar.
Yeah.
Man, that was so magnificent. I must have told every writer I talked to that didn't have a headshot. I said, you've got to get out there and get yourself seen. And I was saying this as the reporter. Keep in mind, I'm doing it from the Overstreet side of things,
right,
not from the creator side of things. But I'm like, why are we as an industry that is so visual, so pathetic about getting our creators out there? You, Jimmy, Brian, and cultivated your audience to know who you were. But I
remember waiting for the Wizard magazine, and that was the only way that I could match up a face with anybody, was all the little pictures of who's doing what. And I go, oh, that's what that guy looks like. Okay, now I know who to look for at a con.
Yeah, I mean, I remember first time I saw John Buscema, and I'm like, oh, that's what he looks like. I was like, I had no idea I have no idea what he looked like.
Yeah.
Stan was the only one that you'd see in the book all the time, so you knew Stan, and once in a while you'd see like him draw draw the other artists. And I remember when they used to pop up in the Marvel comics, they used to say like, here's Jazzy John Romita and I'd be like, what do they really look like? I thought it was such a thrill to finally, when I would see these people in real life, it was like 10 times more exciting because I was like, oh my God, there's Stan Lee.
Until you met Tucci, and then it was just a huge letdown. I don't know. That's how it was for me.
Marvel and DC used to do that with like the Image guys. I think they got afraid of doing that.
Yes,
because of the Image guys. Because those guys were rock stars. I mean, they were just hyped up through the roof. And
Dan, that's exactly right. They made a decision that they had promoted these guys, Todd and Rob and all those guys. They had promoted them heavily, and then they left. But the idea is so absurd that, like, if you're the New York Yankees, you're not going to promote your new first baseman because the old first baseman left you. It's just dumb.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I kind of get it though, because you're not just, you're sending them to a different, someone to a competing company that really could. I mean, the Image took a chunk of sales from Marvel.
Yeah,
and DC.
The thinking was promote the character, not the creator.
Yeah,
because the creator
I just don't see it as mutually exclusive.
Right. No, I don't think so either. I mean, I see Billy and I think of she, right? So that's what I've been programmed. Well, that's not really what I think of Billy, but you know what I mean.
Oh,
you see certain.
He thinks great calves,
and you think of it. When you see, I'm going to name a name and tell me what you think of when I name the name. Everybody across the board. Walt Simonson,
Thor.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay, so Todd McFarlane,
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man.
I said Spider-Man. Just
John Buscema.
Conan.
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man.
Oh no!
I think Conan.
I'm thinking John Romita.
Yeah, Conan.
Yeah, Conan. Yeah.
Billy Tucci.
Sergeant Cockrock. She.
Yeah. I mean, but that's where the career is, right? It's like you think of Joe Kubert, I think of Sergeant Rock,
Yeah.
Dave Stevens.
Yeah,
Rocketeer.
Dave Stevens, think of Rocketeer right away. Mike Mignola.
Yeah.
Hellboy. So it's like, so you have these things happen in a career, right? If the person makes a mark on something, we know them forever, therefore they're famous forever for that.
Yeah.
And what's happening is now so many people bounce onto so many different things, they're not getting associated with characters, so they're harder. So we don't know these names as well because they're bouncing around on different books. They don't have the what Mike did. I mean, you talk about Frank Miller. You say Frank Miller. We have a lot of different answers, but our brains do go to Daredevil Batman, Sin City. You know,
Yeah.
this is a guy that hit a lot of spots in their career. And I know if I had to do a banner and somebody said, what do I put on the banner? And I just said, I don't know. I guess put Harley and Jonah Hex on it. You know, I was trying to figure out what am I known for.
Yeah.
And it's
I think Painkiller Jane, you know.
yeah, Painkiller Jane, that's good.
You know what?
And,
I sort of reflexively go to Jane. I realize for a lot of people it may be Ash.
Yeah,
But
yeah, I mean it's different. It depends, but what I'm saying is
The
lot of the people now doing things, they're not on the books long, or they don't do their own stuff, and that's why we have these guys that we associate. I say Barry Smith, my brain goes to Conan, or Weapon X or something.
Weapon X, I think, yeah.
But like I said, I think there's a lot of guys now a lot of artists or writers that they kind of bounce around, so they don't have a character. And that's why that's why the crowdfunding is so important, is because we can nurture our own character. I think this is our future. And as far as solving why more people don't buy more comics, that's really the only thing we can do personally is make better comics and try to get it out there. Look, the thing is with the crowdfunding is it's only going to get a small audience.
Yeah.
Right.
Until we publish it in another place,
Here's another question. Just the movie companies have been using, they buy up Marvel. They're soaking them for all their ideas.
The script farming.
When's do you think they're going to come to the crowdfunding people at some point? Because they're going to run out of all the movies have the same characters from Marvel had from 25 years ago. There's nothing new there.
It's a good point, Dan, except that the big studios, they're buying other movie studios. So Disney owns like 5 other studios.
Mm-hmm.
So they'll just keep making Marvel movies into TV shows and this and that. What happened?
Marvel, the idea they're mining the package. They're almost done. In a sense that because there's all these. When I go to the movies, I see the same characters that I read 25 years ago. It's like there's nothing new, so that's almost, I feel like it's getting spent,
Well, but then they put out a new Doctor Strange movie, and it has certain characters people don't even know anymore.
What's great about the movies, though, is like the movies aren't on any of the new storylines. It's on the books that actually brought people in, from Silver Age story concepts to the Bronze Age, so they're working that stuff. They're not working the like the new Thor concept where Thor's hammer is a woman and is upset because she's being mistreated, by men. Like they're not using those things. So when it comes to the movies and the TV shows, I think they're engaging. They are. I think they're engaging. A lot of people I know think they're engaging because they're using storylines from the greats that were working on them back when those storylines were in comics.
But Dan, we do have The Boys, right? We do have The Boys and Preacher, and there are comics, Invincible,
Amazon,
They are mining stuff. There's Hellboy movies. There's cartoons.
I'm just saying it sounds like that's the future. It sounds like that's what's going to come. They're gonna run out of ideas at Marvel, DC. Then they're gonna have to go to people like us who have built properties.
They might start. If you have a popular product.
Sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say they might. It's all about what you get, right? Because here's the problem. Crowdfunded books, and whether it's a CG book, a non-CG book, just independent comics in general, do not get the press that they deserve. Because granted, your audience is small, the numbers do speak. When you have a campaign that can make 6 figures, and that may be with 4,000 backers, that says a lot of the quality of the product you're putting out. And what happens is, like Jimmy said, you're going to make the book, you're going to have your small audience, and it's going to be about that secondary market. How are you distributing? Are you going to try to get your book into comic stores through your own publishing house yourself? And that's where the media and the press, these comicbook.com and stuff like that, no one cares about what the independents are doing, because they'll do an article, a small article, like if Jimmy does a campaign or something, but they're not giving it enough focus where really people should be like, what? Holy crap, Jimmy and Amanda doing a campaign. Billy, but she's back. Like she was huge. How is that not getting press? Come on.
In all seriousness, as one of the few people who've covered She, and I'm too closely related to go around and asking other people why they're not. But the thing about it is, look at what Jimmy's done. Okay, consistent performance of these campaigns. It's a really strong core audience where when he starts that he's going to deliver. Okay. And there's also a more serious business plan than some of these mid-level publishers have, where I think I'm going to misquote you, Jimmy, but you said the minute you push go on the Kickstarter, you're in the customer service business.
Yeah.
And
but you're your own media now, though.
Yeah,
that's what's the point of doing
the
YouTube.
But see that, Nile, that's what Billy discovered when he did Sergeant Rock Lost Battalion. Everything that happened, all the acclaim that came with that, all the awards, the interaction with the military veterans, and all that kind of stuff like that, that was 100% Billy.
Yes.
That wasn't
Jimmy put me up in his hotel room. Thank you, Jimmy, for that. And we flew ourselves out there. You flew yourself out. I don't know if you did. I think you did, right, Jimmy? For that Vegas retailer summit to promote our books for DC.
I did.
We flew ourselves out there.
Yeah.
You know, it just feels like
queen size bed that was much roomier than you guys thought it was going to be.
No, we take the mattress. We just get right on the floor with each other. We don't.
Yeah.
It's a lot more room.
It just feels like the independents are where the ideas are at. You know, this right here. Al Capone is a vampire. That's where it's happening here in the independents. This is not happening in mainstream comics. And
you know what?
Imagine a movie.
Dan, I think you're right, and I think that's where the fun is. I think it's where the spontaneity is. Yeah. And if you know, here's the great thing: if we just get to make this comic and make some money doing it, and you know, I'm a lucky guy in that I have a full-time job in the industry that I love, and I do this on the side. I'd like to do more of this, but the fact is that I'm getting to do what I want to do with this, and it's freaking great. Yeah. And by the way, we're now double what our initial goal was. So now we are on the way to doing something serious.
There you go.
Excellent.
And let's we got some new viewers in, so let's play the campaign video.
Thank you, Nile. I'm JC Vaughn, the creator of Al Capone Vampire. You know, some projects require an elaborate pitch. This one does not. It's Al Capone, and he's a vampire. But I promise our story has a lot more to it, too. The events spring out of Vampire PA, but you don't need to have read that one to get this one. There's a brief recap, but the setup is really straightforward. Al Capone is back, he's a vampire, and he's decided to become boss of Chicago again. We have art by Brendan and Brian Frame, colors by House of Magi, letters by Mindy Lompkin, edits by Jason Oldcap Odom, and a ton of technical advice from our pal Nile Scala. We also have an incredible variant cover from Dan Lawless, and if we hit a few stretch goals, we've got some incredible stuff up our sleeves. The book is ready to go to press. We just need your help to make it a reality. On behalf of our whole team, I'd like to thank you for checking out our crowdfunding effort and for your consideration. Thanks.
All right.
Nice job.
Excellent.
Nice. And you broke 1,500. Cool.
Yeah.
JC, cool. I was looking at all the stuff in the background while you were talking. I was hoping that was like a severed head or something.
Oh, I thought you were talking about my Dr. Doom statue.
Yeah, there's a bucket of popcorn or something in the corner too. I noticed some kind of bucket. Does this book open with like that Geraldo opening Al Capone's safe and he's just like folded in there coming out? Or,
no. It actually opens with a couple of page recap of Vampire PA, which is why people don't need to have read that to jump onto
Jesus
this.
Christ, it's bloody. I like this. Wow, so the syphilis thing was a cover story.
and you know, go back to Randy's comment there for a minute.
Dan Lawless needs a new pick in that video, looking like Stephen King, all scary.
That sounds
Oh, it's a
good.
vampire book.
Yeah, what's wrong with
Go
that?
back to Randy's comment thing. There. Yeah. All right. We're actually gonna touch on this in number 3 when we do the origin story. But no, it wasn't a cover story. It's why he took so long to show back up.
Nice. What is this?
So
He's a monster. How much does it really cost for like a 500 print?
is
I'm
that
not
like
sure
a
what he's
500
asking.
print run? It depends
Like a
on the book.
500 book run? I guess it depends on
talking-
your
Yeah,
It
no,
just
it
went
all
up
depends on
paying
what
the
kind
creators?
of paper you do and everything else like that. The smaller the print run, the more per book it costs.
Yeah.
Plus, you got to pay people to do it.
And Dino, spoiler alert. Thanks, Randy. It's always Randy.
Randy.
Randy. Hey, so this campaign is live right now on Kickstarter. It's live on Indiegogo. So pick your poison, whoever you like to support. Al Capone Vampire Hunter is on both platforms.
So you have no choice.
You have no choice but to back it.
Yes, you covered.
Guys, I thank you very much for coming on with us tonight. I really appreciate it and helping getting this thing going. And I think it's going to be the little engine that could, and it's going to do pretty well over the next 23 days. And
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, you got a bunch of streams to get on. You've got a lot of push. Oh, marketing season just hit in the land of JC Vaughn.
I'm
You got to get out there. Got to be Jimmy from the eye.
I'll go.
What are some of the extended goals, Jeff?
Well, if you want now, you want to scroll down
Yeah,
sort of
let's
to the
go
bottom.
down. Let me just
The real quick one is that we've already added some bonus features to it, like behind the scenes kind of stuff. It's almost all the way at the bottom now. We've got signature series books,
Oh, lovely.
sketch covers, all that kind of stuff, like all sorts of add-ons and all that stuff like that. But right below that, I think we get to the structure. There we go. All right. So we've got the bonus materials and behind the scenes interview. That's already in. We're well on our way to a 5-page SFPD story. And then when we hit 3,000, we'll do the Retro Mariner story. It's going to be in there. Just bank on it. And so it'll be a 48-page comic. If we hit 4,000 and
Don't say anything you're going to regret.
Yeah.
if we hit,
JC's going to make everybody dinner.
nah,
Back to the
if
campaign.
we hit,
Now
if
the
we
shirt
hit-
comes off.
if we hit
Tassels.
4,000, if we hit 4,000, I've already cost out. We will offer a glow-in-the-dark version of the skull cover.
Ooh.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I have a serious question, JC.
Yeah.
What do you get if we hit $100,000? What are you gonna do?
If we hit
What's the stretch goal for
$100,000,
100,000?
Shirts and pants.
there'll be at least one more comic in the package.
Skin's gonna come off.
Jeff's going to get a chance to eat.
Hey, Nile.
A seminar on syphilis. What's that?
Oh my God. Nile, could I share something? I just want to thank everyone, if I may.
Sure.
Oh yeah, please, Billy.
We
Campaign is
have
crazy.
with SAKURA. We launched a week ago tonight on Kickstarter. Our Kickstarter.
2 weeks.
exclusive.
Oh, Kickstarter. Yeah.
Yeah, we launched, the 2 weeks before that on Indiegogo, and then we launched it. And I just want to thank you guys. In 1 week, we're almost at $52,000. Thank each and every
phenomenal.
one of you. Thank you, Team She with Nile Scala and JC Vaughn. Jimmy, thank you you and Amanda for coming on for the launch stream. But just thank you guys. I don't even know what to say. We got a lot of fun stretch goals lined up. We're going to make another announcement for tomorrow because I didn't think we were going to blow past this one so fast. And just stay tuned. This one and our Indiegogo. Indiegogo's got 10 more days to go. And this one's got 22 days, I guess. What is that? Yeah, 22 days.
Wow,
So
look
we
at
got
that.
3 weeks left. So thank you guys for that. What a great.
Hey,
Great
Billy, I got a
campaign.
question.
Jimmy, yes.
So you have 547 backers there, and how many backers on your Indiegogo?
Last I checked, it was like 2,000. I'm sorry. Okay, there you go. closing on 1,700 backers.
And what makes people pick one or the other?
I don't know.
Brand loyalty.
I just learned that.
What brand is that? It's all Billy.
INDIEGOGO.
But Jimmy, in all seriousness, if you not talking about what should be, but talking about what is, in a country where we can't agree that the sky is blue and everything's so divided,
Because it's not. No,
why
I'm sorry, go ahead.
why wouldn't there be two choices that people are just
Yeah, no, I'm happy. I look at that number. That's a good number. I just don't, I guess in a way I never understood, like, why am I, I don't have loyalty to companies. I have no loyalty to companies, by the way. I have no loyalty to companies. I feel like they're there just to, they don't care about us on some level. They're just there to do business.
Jimmy, I totally agree. When you see that little tagline, CBS cares. I'm like, no, it doesn't. It's not supposed to.
Yeah.
Right.
As a fan, I just discovered Kickstarter first, and that's basically what I used. And it's only when somebody said, "Oh, I'm only on Indiegogo," and I went, "Okay, I guess I'm going to have to do another company."
I think the next campaign I'm going to try to do both Indiegogo and.
Yeah, I mean it's twice the work, but see, like what we did, and again, some people hate Kickstarter. So there, there's one guy calls me a traitor and stuff, some nut out there on social media.
Traitor to what?
A traitor. I have no idea because I'm doing Kickstarter and not sticking with Indiegogo, but
you're doing both.
Return of the Warrior book, or look at this Haikyo, the predecessor to this book, the prequel to this book. We did in the month on Kickstarter, we did $43,000, over $43,000. Right, this one we've already beat that. We're closing it on surpassing that by 10 grand in our first. What is this? first 7 days, but. This is nothing to sneeze about. This kind of money.
Is there actually any difference between Kickstarter and Indiegogo?
Well, yeah, we have
other than what you offer.
Hey, Billy.
We make each campaign has the main part of the campaign is an exclusive item. And
I did buy Debbie a drink, Billy.
Did you?
What?
When I backed it,
is exactly the same.
Like, what?
When I backed it, I bought Debbie a drink.
Oh, thank you for that.
Yeah.
It's part of the campaign.
The morning after. Oh,
hey.
Yeah, buy Debbie a drink. There's
aren't they both
Indiegogo,
offering the exact same services? Aren't they both offering the exact same services?
There actually are some differences to it, Mike.
Yeah.
And some of it may seem a little esoteric. It is the baseline same thing, but there are different bells and whistles, and there are advantages to both.
Because the next one we're doing is Amanda's sketchbook, and I'm thinking it should be offered everywhere. Anywhere.
I absolutely think you should.
Yeah.
And and speaking of loyalty, I got to tell you, I know where my loyalty is.
Look at these four people: Billy Tucci, Stephen Perez, Gardinio Lima, and Brian Miller. They, along with these four people, Mindy Lopkin, Nile Scala, Jason Odom, and J.C. Vaughn, form SAKURA's creative design and editorial team.
My loyalty's with the team.
There you go.
Andy Smith.
There you go. Andy Smith. There you go.
That was Andy Smith, first man to the depths of space.
Indeed.
So thank you all. We're going strong with this. Again, look at this Indiegogo. These are by far our fastest growing campaigns. And I'm just over the moon. We're just humbled, and we're just so happy, and we cannot wait to deliver the now 72-page original graphic novel. I'm on page 52 right now of 62 pages of story and art. Then we have a cover gallery, and then we have a little what came before, a little catch up of what happened in She history.
Is it true that you also have added recipes?
I think if we hit the $1 million mark, we will do traditional Japanese recipes, and we'll do it on Tasting History with Max Miller.
All right.
Ooh, I can't wait to get to the topic of
Billy. Seriously,
TUCCI'S.
Billy, if you seriously hit $1 million on this campaign, what would you do?
Do you think you could pay us, Billy?
I would pay. Yeah, I would finally pay everybody.
Pay the talent.
Yeah, and then I think I'd buy a house near you, Jimmy.
You would. Everybody, don't back this campaign, folks.
But thank you. Niall, you can stop sharing it now, Niall.
All right, let's see what we got.
Let's look at.
Let's see if we got any new backers over here. Oh, we're up to 20 backers. Nice.
Yes.
So JC, you're really on Kickstarter. You have a Kickstarter following because I think you've done so many.
It's because it is where I started.
Yeah, and we're the opposite. We're more Indiegogo. But that doesn't mean you can't reach out. Like I said, reach out to that other platform. Sell your books in Target and sell them in Walmart.
Yeah, I mean, seriously, I did. We did okay. We did okay with McCandless and Company and with my novel, Second Wednesday on Indiegogo. I just, I started sooner on Kickstarter, and it's just sort of like what Mike said, which is that's what we were doing at first,
Yep.
There you
and
go.
it's really funny what Jimmy said about the not having the brand loyalty. I don't. My loyalty is to the project and to my collaborators, because I am the saddest thing of all, a comic book writer, and I want to get the story to as many people as possible. Why would I cut off any avenue?
Yeah, and everybody deserves a little JC Vaughn.
Thank you. Is that like
Kickstarter?
A little Billy too?
Hey, you guys, Kickstarter has changed a little bit too. It's not gatekeeping as much as it was.
Yeah, we never experienced that.
No,
Dan. They were all gone by the time we even launched because we've only been doing Kickstarter for less than 3 years now.
What was the why was the Kickstarter banning a campaign?
We have no idea.
Was it content?
No, it was Billy. You know the story.
No, yeah, they were.
My stuff has
Richard Meyer's book was taken
people
down
calling
because
people racist.
Mark Wade reached out to Antarctic Press and said that this is the story, and basically said, you're publishing a white supremacist, all this stuff, a racist, and then that got back. And the campaign currently politics is what caused everything.
I hate politics.
Yeah. And the dude wasn't.
I thought it maybe.
There you go. So you made it more simple. That's a big explanation.
Yeah, thank you, Brett.
I thought it was content because my books, like I'm a guy, guys. I like sex and violence in my books. I want the things I can't get in the mainstream all the time. And I grew up on European comics, heavy metal, and all that stuff. So I like my stuff a little wild and crazy because that's always wondering if it was content because I've never had an issue with that,
No, there's crazy stuff on Kickstarter.
But I think it was a couple.
It was that they were afraid, and they were fired. Those people.
Yeah, that's what I said. Those people, if those people are gone, then it's not the same company anymore.
Well, those people are gone, and now Indiegogo has a new CEO and everything, so everyone's now cautious. But I don't know what the outcome is. I think the campaign's still up, but our buddy Vonster, his campaign was put on hold for being. The Indiegogo said it was too violent. It was promoting violence.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
But it's America. Violence is like pizza and apple pie.
Yeah. Yeah. John, I think wasn't one of Malin's books banned? It was John Malin's book was taken down
from Indiegogo.
I so want the title.
Wow.
I want the title of having one of my books banned.
Yeah.
I so want that. God damn
it. You'll get there.
What do I have to do in that book to make it banned?
All right, Old Bean, what did your last campaign do on Kickstarter?
Oh, I don't know. Let me look. It's been
last Vampire PA you did over $7,000, right?
Yeah, nah, that doesn't sound right.
No, this is what we've got to beat. This, all right?
Yeah, listen. Here's the thing. Part of the thing is that, unlike you, who've been going at it full bore, which has been great, Billy. I ended up working on the Overstreet Comic Book Price Guide to Lost Universes, and I'm exceptionally proud of the book. I'm glad I did it, but at the same time, it sacrificed some of my own creative momentum while I was doing that. But that, like I said, I've got a distinct advantage. I got a day job in the industry and happen to love it. I mean, most people who are doing this on the side don't love what they're doing. You know?
Yeah.
So
and then for us, this is what we do for a living.
Yeah.
Jimmy and I. So this is what we do.
Yep.
So this is what we have to. That's why we have to go full bore, and we have to just be on every day. And
that's why we got to make the big bucks, Billy.
Yeah. Now let me ask you something, Jimmy.
Yes.
I didn't put out a press release. I put out a press release about George Perez yesterday. I didn't send out a press release today, or I didn't send out a press release yesterday either, or updates. How often do you put out your updates when a campaign's going? Do you try to do an update every day? Do you do every couple of days?
On my social media daily, right?
Yeah.
But as far as an update, like so we have like a Paper Films has like, you know, it's like around 5,000 mailers, you know, 5,000 people mail it. And we only do it probably beginning before the campaign, when it launches, and then probably the week before before it ends. But we don't do it a lot. The one thing I learned with the mailer is people don't want a lot of it.
Yeah.
Which kind of goes against what Substack and also Zestworld, what I'm doing with Zestworld, kind of goes against that because their mail is every week of content. But I find that people tend to not read them as much if they're constantly coming to them.
Yeah.
But if they get them every once in a while, like what I try to do on my updates is, like, I'll push your campaign and I'll push JC's this week, you know, like Patrick will put them on there. But I like to put a coupon for the website, or I like to make it so at least if somebody's reading it, there's some payoff. But I think it's like, I think if you do it too much, people just delete it, you know. And because I, you know, me and Patrick's in the business of understanding mailers. He does them for big companies. So he sees how many people actually click on from the mail to the actual site or to the Kickstarter. He gets a percentage breakdown. So we look at, we kind of focus on how many people clicked on this one and how many people didn't click on a certain one. So we try to look at it a little scientifically. But at the end of the day, you know, if people, you know, you have to put a visual in that email. Otherwise, people don't want to read it. JC, yours is the only one I read that has no visuals. But I'm always yelling at you because the links don't always go to the. I can't always copy them onto Twitter. They just don't.
Yep. It's annoying, and one hopes that will be dealt with in relatively short order.
Hey, guys, I got to run because Amanda's making me dinner right now.
Jimmy, thanks for coming on, man, and thanks for backing.
Yeah, JC, congratulations, buddy. You're gonna do great, and great seeing you guys. Dan, holy shit with that cover, man, beautiful.
Thanks.
And rest of you guys, Billy, I'll see you soon, man. I don't know, San Diego's coming, buddy.
Yeah, absolutely, Bo. I haven't heard from the panels yet, but
if they don't approve that panel,
I know
they need some major. That's going to be a whole show we can do.
Did you when you in your panel description, did you do what I said about leading with Inkpot winner?
Yes. So what I basically did was I said it's called Happy Hour with the comic book couples, and it says join Inkpot recipients. You know, Amanda Connor, Jimmy Palmiotti, Jeff Smith, Terry Moore, Brian Polito and Billy Tucci as they're joined by Abstract Studios, Robin Moore, Cartoon Books, but for an entertaining and enlightening panel on what it's like to live with a comic book pro and running a successful comic book, publishing company. But fun. So they got to do that, man.
I can't imagine they wouldn't, and that would be a good one to film.
Well, I had to send a second one in because Jeff had said that Vijaya was only going to be there on Thursday and Friday. And he goes, "Oh, I'm sorry. Vijaya's only. Those are the days Vijaya is not going to be there."
But the thing about this is Jeff is actually a guest of the show this year.
Oh, he is.
Oh yeah. So if they turn you down, you guys go back with that.
Yeah, he's got to then take a more proactive role.
He's got the juice. Yeah. He's got the con juice.
Yeah.
I'll have a bone to pick with them.
Because we're not guests.
Before you go, just wanted to say that it was nice finally talking to you and seeing you because I haven't seen you in a really long time. please say hi to Amanda for me.
I will, buddy. Good to
What's
see
she
you
making
too.
for
I didn't know
dinner?
you were in Mexico, but you know, the titty twister, you gotta go. You gotta go.
Hey, just one thing, Jimmy. Here's Elvis.
Oh, there you go.
There he
Oh
is.
my
the
God.
guy. Let me see if I can make it bigger. There he is. Look.
That does not look like Elvis.
That's what I thought when I first saw it.
He wasn't bad, right? And then he got in a minivan with Florida plates.
Man, oh man. He's got that tan though. He's got that
he's got the tan,
forever tan going
Florida
on.
Elvis.
He's
All
actually
right,
that guy
guys,
that
listen,
lives
have a
down the
great
street.
night.
Good night, Jimmy.
All right, thanks,
Thank
Jimmy.
you.
Have a good night.
Take care.
All right. Well, gentlemen, I
And
think this was
answer
a
to
fun
Randy's
launch.
question about Canada, the answer is probably no. I don't know what I was calculating when I was
It's
doing
not
that.
enough, Jeff.
Yeah. So I'll probably fix it, but I won't charge anybody that's already done it.
Do you guys see my floor? I just looked behind me, and my dog has taken his favorite toy, ripped its head wide open, and pulled out all the stuffing all over the floor.
It's sort of like you
No
want to
Carlos.
date.
That's Carlos, my puppy.
Carlos.
Carlos.
And so, Jeff, we're up to 21 backers, 1,500, over 1,500, which is
That's great.
We
I'm
definitely
sort
got
of-
some love over at Indiegogo.
Yeah,
so anyone
that's-
that's watching
that's
this
sort of-
live now and wants to support it, check out the Indiegogo campaign. If that's your poison, please back it on Indiegogo. If not, please head on over to Kickstarter. You can back it there as well. Again, and also if you guys are enjoying what you're watching, please make sure to click that subscribe button below as well as the bell to get notifications when we go live and we upload some awesome new content for you guys. And before we go tonight from this launch, I just want to also bring up really quick, we have done something I don't know if me and Billy ever thought we'd really do, but we're kind of opening up PopXP, I guess. You know, if good shows come our way, you know, we want to bring as much content to you. And one thing I see missing is kind of like fun. You know, it's definitely not going to be any new comics. It's all old comics talk. It's a bit of history. It's bringing the creators that worked on some of these old books. So tomorrow night is going to be a welcome show for Steve and Seminos' Boom Show, which is now going to be airing on the PopXP. And we're going to do a show tonight welcoming these two fine gentlemen to the PopXP network. It's our first out of, I guess, our realm of shows. You know, I'll be on it, engineering, and I'll be talking a little bit. Billy will be coming on periodically at times. They've got some amazing guests lined up. Steve Houston, one of the hosts, is, if you watch Pawn Stars, he's a gentleman they bring on for expertise on books that people want to pawn. And he's also one of the lead guys at Torpedo Comics in Las Vegas. And John Cimino.
And from my side, let me say, one of the best Overstreet advisors I was responsible for recruiting.
Oh, excellent.
The guy is, and just like John has his specific knowledge set, Steven is a guy that is out there in the trenches selling comics. He knows what's hot, and we're talking back issues, not talking new stuff. And he is super knowledgeable about it. Hardcore Overstreet guy, knows the price guide backwards and forwards, and he is a font of information.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
So you guys, this is a great pickup for PopXP channel.
Yeah, and his co-host John Cimino, you know,
I mean,
manager
seriously,
to the great Roy Thomas.
What John has been doing to get Roy Thomas out there and more recognition. I don't think it was any like Roy looked up and wasn't been recognized or something like that. But I think it's really important to let the modern audience know just what he did. And I'm so glad to see that going on, because Roy is super knowledgeable. You look at all the issues of Alter Ego he's put out, and you know, this is a guy, if anything, could have just sat and rested on his laurels. Look at all the great comics he's done and all the stories he's had that have been adapted and been components in movies and stuff like that. And they're just out there celebrating and comics history, and Roy is all over it. So this is a huge pickup for you guys, Nile.
And Roy wants to be a major part of the show, which is great. So you're going to see quite a bit of Roy on these episodes, which is going to be awesome. So tomorrow night we'll premiere the date for the first episode. It's going to be mainly a recorded and uploaded show, and then we're going to throw in some lives with it, especially when we have some major guests, which we've got some really incredible people lined up. So we'll see how it goes. Should be exciting. A little different avenue.
Very exciting, Scala. Very exciting.
I'm looking forward to
it. Niall, before we go, I just wanted to say, shout out to Heroinberg for keep on posting the links in the chat. I really appreciated that.
Thank you, Heroinberg.
Awesome. All right, well, everyone, make sure to head on over to Kickstarter or Indiegogo. The links are in the chat below to back Al Capone Vampire on Indiegogo and on Kickstarter. And you'll also be seeing us promoting it heavily on social media. So if you see those links, help give a share there. And again, JC, congratulations getting funded on Kickstarter. And I'm really excited to see where this campaign is going to go. This is a fun book. I have all the previous ones, and it is well worth it. It's a fun read. For sure.
Excellent.
Thanks, Nile.
Great luck, Old Bean.
Thanks for hanging
Thank
out.
you, Billy. Dan, great to actually see you, and
Yeah.
I've enjoyed the working relationship so far, man. Can't wait for more.
Yeah, it's fun. I'm a blast.
You are brilliant, Dan. Brilliant.
Absolutely brilliant, my boy.
Absolutely brilliant. All right.
Absolutely
I'm gonna
Mikey,
eat
thanks for being on,
That
man.
makes I'm hungry.
Not a problem. I enjoyed it. I'll help out any way I can.
All
As you
right.
know.
Fantastic. All right, everyone, have yourselves a great night, and we'll be live tomorrow
buddy.
night.
care,
Welcoming Steve
Thank
and
you,
John
everybody.
to the PopXP. Thank
Thank
you.
you,
and we'll see
guys.
soon.
Hey everyone, thank you for joining us on PopXP. If you haven't already, make sure to click that subscribe button and also click the bell for notifications when we go live and we upload some awesome new content. Also, don't forget to head on over to Twitter and follow us at the PopXP and over on Instagram at the PopXP. Thanks again everyone, and we'll see you soon.